Singapore has come a long way since her humble beginnings as a small fishing village in the 13th century. Legend has it that in 1299, Sang Nilai Utama, a prince from Palembang, landed on the island and while hunting, saw an unfamiliar animal that looked like a lion. He named the island Singapura, from the Sanskrit words Simha and Pura, meaning Lion City. On the 29th of January 1819, Sir Stamford Raffles arrived in Singapore. He made a treaty with the local rulers and established Singapore as a British colony and the first free port in the region. This soon attracted traders and merchants from around the world. Singapore grew and prospered with the hard work of our forefathers who came from different lands. They worked in various occupations, ranging from trading to construction and shipping. Among these early immigrants were renowned figures such as Tan Tock Seng, Govindasamy Pillai, Syed Omar bin Ali Al-Junaid, Professor Ernest Stephen Montero. Decades of peace and prosperity ended when Japanese forces rained down bombs on the island on the 8th of December 1941. The city that the British claimed to be an impregnable fortress was occupied by the Japanese on the 15th of February 1942. Singapore was renamed Sionan, Japanese for Light of the South, and came under Japanese occupation for 3.5 years. It was a difficult period for our people. Many showed courage and commitment to Singapore, including prominent figures such as Lieutenant Adnan Saidi, Elizabeth Choi, Limbo Singh, The Japanese surrendered on the 15th of August 1945, ending the Japanese occupation in Singapore. The British remained in power until the Straits Settlements comprising Penang, Malacca and Singapore was dissolved. The post-war years were marked by poor living conditions, poverty and unrest. On the 11th of December 1950, riots occurred between Malays and Muslims and the European and Eurasian communities. The riots took place after a court ruling that Maria Hertog, a Dutch child raised by Muslim foster parents, should be returned to her biological Catholic parents. This became known as the Maria Hertog riots. Riots also broke out between the Malays and Chinese in 1964, following the merge of Singapore with the Federation of Malaya. The riots were the worst and most prolonged in Singapore's post-war history. In 1969, Sino-Malay clashes once again erupted after the general election in Malaysia. These race riots underlined the need to maintain harmony among the different racial and religious groups in Singapore. Eventually, this led to the introduction of a law that makes it an offence to incite racial and religious hatred in Singapore. In 1961, the Malayan Prime Minister, Tunku Abdul Rahman, proposed a merger to foster closer political and economic cooperation between the Federation of Malaya, Singapore, Sarawak, North Borneo and Brunei. The merger took place on the 16th of September 1963. However, differences in political ideology and policies eventually led to the separation of Singapore from Malaysia on the 9th of August 1965. Singapore thus became a sovereign and independent nation, led by the leader of the ruling People's Action Party and Singapore's first Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew. After independence, we faced pressing problems related to unemployment, housing and education. The only resource we had were our people and our desire to build a better future for ourselves and our children. Over the years, we have succeeded in transforming our country, housing and educating our people, building a strong economy that provides good jobs, and improving standards of living for all. Singaporeans of different races and religions treasure our social harmony. We have stood together through various crises and challenges as one united people. Singapore has evolved into a nation that Singaporeans are proud to call home. Guided by our rich heritage and vision for the future, we will strive to be a nation that is strong, united and resilient, and a people that will work together to build the best home for ourselves and our children.